What's going on, guys? Your boy Amazing here, back with another video, and in today's video, guys, we are here with the young knight Lancelot and going over his best teams that you want to be running. We're going to be doing some team building ideas here for this character, guys, and yeah, I wanted to do a video kind of structuring it, based on how you can actually team build for this character. A lot of you guys are probably new to the game or returning players that are coming in, and you probably are wondering like what teams are going to be good for this character. And so what I'm going to be doing in today's video is going to be explaining how you can make teams and also what are some of his best teams as well. So if you guys enjoy videos like this, man, definitely make sure to hit that like button and subscribe, as we are on the road to that 50,000 subscribers. And guys, we recently hit that 47k subs as of recent, and man, it's been insane. The grind we've been doing, I've been pumping out a ton of videos, and we're gonna keep them going, guys. So make sure you're sub to the channel, and with that out of the way, let's hop in and let's talk about Lancelot's best teams. So going to the set team section here, guys, I actually set up 3 different teams that you can build for this character in terms of what he's able to be run on. So to determine what teams that you're going to be seeing Lancelot on, guys, we got to go to his unique and kind of see what applicable allies or allies that we can actually run him on are going to be. So if we actually go through his passive here, you can see that it says applicable allies being humans, fairies, and the 4 knights of the apocalypse. So these 3 either races or characteristics are going to be the things that we want to be doing if we're trying to build a team around this character. And so when we actually go through his passive as well, we can see that he's doing a bunch of things for the team too. The hero's maximum HP increases by 8% for each applicable ally participating in the battle. When an applicable ally uses a single target attack skill dealing damage, the mark of insight is going to be applied for 3 turns to a maximum of 1 enemy. In addition, each time an applicable ally deals damage to an enemy afflicted with the mark of insight, the hero will gain 1 piercing arrow, and then at the start of an ally's turn, the hero's attack related stats will increase as well, with the amount of skills the enemy has for the attack skills, right? So yeah, overall, guys, when we go through his passive here, we're seeing the 3 different things that we can cover in terms of applicable allies, and so that's going to be the basis of his 3 teams that we got here. So the first team here that I think is going to be the weakest one right now, guys, is going to be the 4 Knights of the Apocalypse team. Now, this team right now doesn't really exist, guys. I'll be honest. We can go to characteristic here and we can look at the characters available for this team, but it's honestly only, like 2 characters at the moment. We have Percival and then we have Lancelot. Now, we do not have, any other character really. Tristan is not really going to count, and the reason why I say this is because even though he is on the characteristic and he would receive buffs from Lancelot, he's actually not going to be buffing Lancelot or Percival being on the team, because he is actually an unknown race character, which is not a part of his applicable ally setting, and he's also not buffing human fairies at all. And so you can see here in his passive is demons and goddesses, which no one on the team is really going to get that buff, not even Tristan himself, because he's considered an unknown character. And so there's really no reason to run this character on the team, guys. If we were going to do a 4 Knights of the Apocalypse team, it would have to have some other characters on the team as well. So if we're doing like Percival, we got Lancelot, we can slot in either a fairy or a human. And so if we go to races here and we actually do go to the, let's just say human race, right? Let's do an example here, guys. If we slot in a character, we could do maybe Transcendent Bond, we could do you are Escanor. If you go to fairy side, we could actually do, maybe, we could actually do Jelly King. Jelly King could be a cool character right there. We could do the green, what is it called? The New Year's King, right? You could do Chad King, you could do LR King. There's a few ideas here, guys, but again, the 4 Knights of Apocalypse team is going to be the weakest right now, since there isn't really any teams we can build right now. It's just more so a future-proof thing for Lancelot, where in the future, when we do get, actual, like, Tristan, the one from the show, when we do have, another Percival, when we get Gawain, and we have, obviously, the full team going for 4 Knights, then we're going to start to see a lot of improvement for the team, and yeah, that's when we're really going to see, Lancelot shine on a team like the 4 Knights of Apocalypse team. So yeah, at the moment, guys, I'm not going to say that's a really viable team, but let's move on now to the best team in my opinion for Lancelot, which is going to be the fairy team right now, guys. Now, the reason why I think Lancelot works the best on the fairy team is because in his passive here, when we go to his stuff that he's providing for fairies or for humans, right? If you actually go to it here, fairy allies basic stats plus 5% for each one participating in the battle, whereas when he's running on humans, he actually gives them defense related stats for each one participating in the battle, which, in my opinion, I value basic stats higher than defense related stats, just because basic stats is giving you more damage and more tanking, whereas defense related is mainly just the tanking side of the game. So overall, I think fairies is going to be his better team. Also, fairies have better supports right now in terms of buffers, right? We have LR Gloxinia here, where, in his Holy Relic, in PvP specifically, right, right? You're going to increase basic stats of fairy allies by 5% for each fairy participating in the battle, and also increase fairy allies critical chance by 5 and critical damage by 10 for every debuff applied to the enemy's limit of 4 times. So you can see here that characters like Gloxinia, you know, LR King is another character as well that's going to be buffing this type of race. And yeah, there's just a bunch of, you know, stats we're getting, basic stats, attack related, a bunch of things like that, guys, which is going to be beneficial for the team and how we're actually able to take advantage of Lancelot and do well with him. And so yeah, I mean, I think this team is going to be the best team for him, generally speaking. Obviously it depends on the content you're doing, but you know, mainly PvP wise, this would probably be his best. You definitely slot in a different backline for sure. I could even see, like, you know, maybe you move King to the backline and you run like a lane in the front. I could actually see a team like this as well, because King's basic stat would still be applied for the team and you would have fairly good CC as well. So this could be another example of a way you build the team. And yeah, I mean, you're just gonna try and look for, you know, buffs for the race in the kit of the characters, guys. So when we go to a lane here at the start of the battle, increase fairy allies critical defense, right? And it increases their damage dealt by 8% up to 32 for every buff applied to fairy allies, you see. So, you know, we're buffing fairy heroes here, and so a lane would be a good slot, King would be a good slot, and also Gloxinia. So yeah, that's just kind of an example right there, guys, of, you know, some fairy team building. We don't have like a bunch of flexible options for fairies, but for what we do have right now, it is still a viable option and can definitely be run right now to be successful, guys. So I do like to run this type of team right here, and then I like to run Festival Zeldris backline because he's providing basic stats for every debuff on the enemies, and then also he's lowering the enemy's attack related stats when they are debuffed as well. So yeah, guys, that pretty much covers the kind of fairy team building here. You know, again, not too many options, but still a viable, you know, setup here where you got, you know, both the LRs and then Lancelot. So I do definitely think that this is a really good team. Now, moving on to the final team that you can build for Lancelot here, guys, is going to be the human variant. Now, human, in my opinion, is his second best team, but it doesn't really feel as good as fairies. And, you know, I know a lot of people in the community right now have kind of seen Lancelot and they think he's not really that great, but I do think that on fairy team, guys, he's exceptional. You know, he's a really strong character on this team. You really feel his damage, and you know, it actually is felt. Whereas on the human team, because as I mentioned a little bit earlier in the video, where in his passive for his buffs for humans, he's giving them defense related, but he's not gaining any basic stats, right? We only would gain 5 for himself and then 15% defense related for the entire team, and we would stack that up to 45%. So, you know, the defense related is obviously very good and can be pretty nice, but yeah, I mean, this is just an example team that I have here. So we have UR Escanor, we have UR Arthur, and then we have the Red Jenna backline. And the synergy with this team, guys, is that Arthur obviously is going to be the kind of taunter character, the character that's going to draw damage away from your Lancelot. So on the turn 2, Arthur's going to be able to do that. He's also providing basic stats to the human allies. You can see he gives 5% for each human ally participating in the battle. And yeah, he's going to be able to taunt enemies and cleanse his own debuffs and do damage scaling through HP. And then Escanor here is a kind of flexible character here where he doesn't really need humans to be on the team for him to work, but because he's on a more centered around a human team in this scenario, he's gonna be able to provide them with the what is it? I forget. Yeah. So the burning sun effect right here when he does die, and that's gonna inflict additional damage equal to 40% of the target's increased max HP when using a single target attack, and so that's gonna allow Lancelot to do a lot more damage, and also Arthur single targets as well. So that's just kind of an idea there, guys. But you could also slot in like so many other humans. If we go to the human section here, it's pretty flexible. You know, for our backline here, you could do like Sigurd, you could do the Red Jenna that I have right here. You can do maybe Ragnarok Bond. Right, he's a good flexible backline as well, because he's going to be providing 10% attack related stats for universal backline support. And yeah, there's just a bunch of different options you can do, guys. Humans is a lot more flexible than any other team. It's just, it doesn't really feel like a strong team for Lancelot overall, right? But it's still a viable team. And if we're talking like PvE content, guys, like if we just remove Jenna and we slot in Roxy here, I mean, this is going to be a strong team for a lot of demonic beast related content, just because you're going to be speed running the fight super quickly. You know, in a team setting like this, you have Roxy, which is going to help provide additional damage dealt off the initial hit. So when you're facing enemies that have damage cap in PvE content, you get additional damage equal to 300% of the hero's initial attack on single target skills. And so that's going to definitely benefit, you know, Lancelot when he's doing his single targets, and even Escanor and Arthur, so you have a more synergistic kind of speed run, you know, team. So, you know, for PvE, I think humans is probably his better team than fairies, but if we're talking PvP, guys, I'm gonna lock in with the fairy team, and I think that he's a lot better in that scenario. And you know, you have a lot more flexibility with humans too in terms of team variation, whereas with fairies you're kind of locked down to Gloxinia and King right now until we get some more fairy support in the future or any other types of fairy character releases. So yeah, guys, that's pretty much my team building strategies right there, man. Right now we only have 3 team setups that you can really run, guys, and then just variations of those teams. 4 Knights of Apocalypse I really don't feel like is a team right now though, to be honest, so it really is just fairies and humans, and I do think fairies is his better team at the moment. But yeah, I mean, you guys let me know though, like, how have you guys experienced Lancelot? Do you think that, you know, he's better on humans, maybe better than fairies if it's a different team? Just kind of let me know, man. But yeah, again, guys, human team very flexible, fairy team kind of restricted, but still a very strong team overall. So that's how I would go about team building for Lancelot, guys. I hope you guys do enjoy the video. Don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe, and I'm gonna see you guys on the next video, man. Peace out. Have a good rest of your day, guys. See you later, man.